Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can all see and hear me. It's about time, it's 12:30. So we are going to start with our next session about e-commerce. My name is Johan Verboom. I'm the Consul General of the Netherlands in Milan, living and working in Milan since 4 years, enjoying my life, enjoying work in Milan, in beautiful Italy. And we have a very promising session this afternoon. We are supposed to have around 85 participants, so some people will still drop in maybe a bit later together with their sandwich. We are aware that we are around lunchtime. If people want to see this session afterwards, it's possible because it will be recorded. So be aware, if you don't want to be visible, then turn off your own camera. Then because the RVO will publish this recording later on the internet, and then you will not be seen if you don't want that. Well, a couple of years ago, we noticed that e-commerce is getting more and more important in the Netherlands, but also in Italy. In the Netherlands, we see many innovations. It's quite business as usual, paying online or ordering stuff online. I was speaking with my son in Rotterdam. He's a student, and he told me he had just ordered a pair of trousers, and he had ordered them online. So I asked him, how can you do that? You have to try them. You have to see whether they fit or not. And he said, well, if they don't fit, I send them back, and they will send a new one. So this is apparently the modern way of buying and selling. And I'm not used to it myself yet. When I buy a pair of trousers, I want to try them. But this is the times how the times are developing. And also in Italy, the e-commerce sector is growing enormously. But there is still a lot to do. Online paying or online administrative procedures are not totally common yet. I have the feeling sometimes that many Italians are a little bit like me. They want to have something in their hands. They want to pay cash, or it's even still possible in Italy to pay with checks. So I think there is quite an opportunity. We have seen that as a consulate general together with our embassy in Rome, that there's quite an opportunity to share experiences, to share knowledge, to share IT developments between the Netherlands and Italy. And I have to compliment my two colleagues at the consulate, who are Manuela Capra and Edith Visser, who are dealing with this process. They are in charge of setting up e-commerce procedure here at our consulate. They have developed a market scan, or they have asked somebody to do this, and they are now working on following steps. And actually, this event of today is our first public event with regard to e-commerce. And that's why we are very excited. And Jurjen Hallegraaf, he is the one who has done this market scan, this market research. He will give a presentation about this. Then we have also Olaf Bussink with us. He is an expert in e-commerce, and he will tell us a little bit about what is happening in Italy. And we have two very interesting business cases. Last but not least, we will also hear from the RVO, Rijksdienst voor Ondernemend Nederland, about subsidy possibilities. So this is our program. It's very tight program. We only have 1 hour. If you have questions, please put them in the chat, and we will see in the course of the meeting whether we can ask them to our guests, or we will come back to you later on by email or otherwise. Please also use the chat to talk to other people who are in the group, and present yourself. Just let's make it a very lively session. Well, that brings me, as I said, to our first presentation. Jurjen Hallegraaf. He has done the market research for us. We are very grateful to him for that. He is living in Milan. He is our neighbor. He came to Milan 12 years ago as a sportsman, but quickly he switched to e-commerce. And he now has developed a company for himself, which is helping other companies in the area of e-commerce. So he's the right person to kick off our meeting. And well, he is also the man with the biggest challenge of the day, because he has around 10 slides and he only has 8 minutes. So Jurjen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Johan, for your introduction, and hello everyone from Milan. So my name is Jurjen Hallegraaf, and yes, for sure, I have a good challenge to present to you this extensive market research, finding e-commerce opportunities for Dutch companies in Italy. So let's dive into it. If you're ready, we will start right away. And again, I will tell you only the highlights of this market research. For more details, please look also to the full market research. You can download it on the website on the RVO, or I uploaded also in my B2 Match profile, so you can find all the information there. Also, the presentation you find in my B2 Match, because yes, as mentioned before, this presentation will be yeah, maybe in the 6th year, I think. So, moderator, can you please start the video?
Did you know that the Italian e-commerce market is one of the fastest growing e-commerce markets in Europe, and that the online market is an emerging market? That offers low lots of opportunities.
I'm afraid the video is a bit heavy for this program. Maybe, even though we tried it before, maybe we should move on to the slides.
Yes, I think so too. That's a pity, but never mind. The video highlighted the most important facts of Italy. Like there are over 51 online customers in Italy active and purchasing online. Also, it is an emerging market in Italy. So there are a lot of opportunities for companies to gain market share. Also, if I remember correctly, I mentioned in this video that over 50% of the e-commerce market is located in the north of Italy. So that is also good to know when you start operating on the e-commerce market in Italy. After this video, I have some slides I want to present to you. As mentioned before, moderator, can you start with the first slide? Let's see if that's possible. Yes, that's the first slide. All right. As I mentioned, this is the title of the market research. The Embassy of the Netherlands and the General Consulate contacted me as a market expert to conduct this market research on the topic of e-commerce opportunities. It's quite an extensive desk of market research, and I interviewed several companies also to have their opinion about the facts that we found in the market. Next slide, please. Okay, there was the first trend are marketplaces. This is a concrete opportunity, as in marketplaces in Italy are very dominant and present because over 98% of the online consumers in Italy have purchased at least once on an online marketplaces in the last 3 months. Good to know is that Amazon is market leader in Italy, over 38% market share, followed by eBay and marketplaces of Facebook. These are concrete opportunities for Dutch companies. As first, one slide back, please. For the moderator, thank you. This is concrete opportunities for Dutch companies as they can enter this the Italian market on an easy way, as little to no translations are needed. And using these marketplaces, they can directly get in contact with a lot of Italian customers. Okay, next slide, please. And another opportunity are online payment solutions. There are some online solutions in Italy, but the offer is very limited. Some players that are present on the Italian market is PayPal, Nexi, and Stripe. However, these payment solutions are sometimes limited, or also in the Netherlands, we are very well informed about the opportunities that are, you can build on that, and we have also other opportunities in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, we are also early adapters on the payment solution. So if you work in this niche, there are a lot of opportunities, as I mentioned before. Did you know that in Italy, the most used payment solution is PayPal? Next slide, please. Okay, another opportunity are e-fulfillment. Most of the Italian e-fulfillment parties, they use still their own warehouse to ship to the final customer. This gives a lot of opportunities for e-fulfillment companies to enter the Italian market and to offer interesting opportunities like later cut-off times, cheaper shipping costs, and less error, of course, in the process. Did you know also, moreover, that Italians don't always expect next day delivery? They often accept also 2 to 5 working days. Next slide. Last opportunity, but not least, of course, the last mile delivery. In Italy, the market is exploding at this moment. It's an emerging market, and there are a lot of opportunities. The last mile delivery are increasing rapidly. Moreover, the customer are demanding more and more information and flexibility in the last process of the delivery of the parcel. Also, green opportunities are not underestimated. You can think about electric car delivery or bicycle delivery of the green mile, of the last mile. Okay, before I want to go to the last slide, I would like to give you some tips on how you can enter the Italian market. First of all, you need high quality translations. Italians they prefer to work in their own language. Moreover, a good customer service is crucial. Italians like to pick up the phone and call you and say, hello, who is the person behind this company? And I have a question, etc., etc. Third tip I would like to give you is a smart market research. With the smart market research, you can investigate this market. This is for sure a different market compared to the Netherlands or other markets that you are active in. You have to get an idea on the stakeholders, competition, but also where is your customer located. Last but not least, there is also marketing opportunities and CEO opportunities. As it is an emerging market, it is still very well possible to get organic results in a short time. Okay, so last slide. I think this was a short presentation of an extensive market research. So please read the full market research if you are interested in more details. And maybe there are some questions, and I would like to give the floor to Johan.
Well, Jurjen, I'm impressed by the speed of your presentation. Thank you so much.
I hope it was not too quick for some people.
Well, I have read your report and I have to commend you for it, because it's really a lot of information what you have collected, and I think a very good overview of the situation in Italy. And all participants, if you are interested, please send us an email. The email address is also in the chat box, mail@mimbusa.nl, and we will send you the report. It's a very good overview, so we are very grateful to you for that. And it's almost impossible to present it completely in such a short time. But again, thank you very much. At this moment, there are no questions directly with regard to your presentation. So we will move on to our next guest speaker, who is Simon Hamer. He is of the company fitforme.com. And this is a very interesting best practice of a company selling its products in Italy online. Simon Hamer, he studied in Rotterdam at the Erasmus University, and immediately after that, he founded Fit for Me. And we are now talking about more than 15 years ago. He uses scientific and clinical research to develop food supplements for people with problems with obesity and diabetes. And Fit for Me now is a market leader, and it serves patients in around 35 countries, and one of them is Italy. So that is quite an achievement. Simon, are you there? Because I still see Jurjen on my screen. There is Simon.
Here, yeah. Hi.
Well, good to have you from beautiful Rotterdam.
Yes, it is, and sunny too. So it's
sunny
quite special,
even,
yeah.
like in Milan. Well, I hope my introduction of you and your company was correct, and it would be very interesting to hear from you. How did you start with Italy as a country, and how did you do that? Why did you decide for Italy, I meant?
Well, thanks. Yes, my introduction is correct, and it's also very confronting that I'm now already 16 years down the line. So thank you very much for reminding me of that, Johan. It's time really moves fast when you're having fun. We are a Dutch company based out of the Netherlands, and we're active in a very small market. I think it's very important for everyone to realize that obesity, I think, is a mass disease. A lot of people globally suffering from obesity, especially suffering from morbid obesity, which is our field of expertise, but only literally tens of thousands of people per country in Europe are being operated at the moment. We see that this number is going up, and we actually focus only on operated patients. And Italy, for a fact, is the second largest market for bariatric surgery in Europe, and actually the fourth country we started doing business in. We had come from a situation of being a Dutch company focused on the Dutch market, but we quickly realized that if we want to make a serious dent in our ambitions, which was to become global market leader in this very niche field, we had to quickly expand. And being a very young company at the time, we did not have the funds nor the capacity of people and knowledge to expand into all these new countries, putting up our own team of maybe 2, 3, 4, some countries even 5, if necessary, people on the ground, and starting from zero, because that's actually what was necessary. So instead of doing 1 to 2 countries per year, or maybe even per 2 years, we quickly decided we would look for local partnerships with companies that knew the local market within Europe, and after that outside of Europe, so we can expand rather quickly without having to invest all this effort in getting to know the people, getting to know the market, and instead leveraging the knowledge which is already present in these countries, with people that live there, that speak the language, that know the rules, that know the market very well. And we found this to be a very, very effective strategy. So that's how we, over a very quick period of time, I think about 8 years, we're able to now move up to 35 countries. Obviously, COVID has slowed us down a bit in our country growth, but we're very happy with these 35 and we'll continue to expand in this fashion.
Yeah, well, you're mentioning that Italy, you have chosen for Italy because it is a big market for your products. So that's a very good reason. And you mentioned that you are used to working with local partners. How did you do that with Italy? How did you find your partner? Because sometimes we hear from Dutch businessmen that language, for example, can be an issue.
Yeah, I think this is the question people ask in the company, especially the new joiners in our company now. They ask me, what is it actually that you can do? Because you don't seem to have one talent specifically. And this is maybe the only talent I do have. I like to speak to people and actually go and visit the markets. And one of the speakers after me is Olaf Bussink, through a connection we both had in a country, Germany, where we were working before. We had this common link, and I got introduced to Olaf and as a local partner, potentially to start our business. And we've been working together ever since. So it's mainly, I think, drinking a lot of coffee, speaking to a lot of people, as many as you can. I have the advantage of Olaf obviously being Dutch and my Italian being pretty poor. I was in a good spot. So that was great. We've not been so lucky in other countries where we had to deal with let's say, local partners speaking in a local language where you're both sharing, let's say, the English language as a common denominator. And that has definitely, we've seen that works slower. It's possible, but you have some miscommunication sometimes on where you want to go and clarity. So we're very lucky, but mainly how we spend a lot of time on the road, speak to a lot of people, and in our case, visit the congresses which are being organized in Italy or in other countries, and that attract these people where you want to be active in, and you'll start to meet these people. And I was very lucky to meet Olaf in this case.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, as a consulate, very often we have this question from Dutch businesses, how to find a local partner or agent. And we always try to help people to preferably to direct them directly to somebody. But we make also use of Forum Agenti, for example, which is a yearly fair in Milan, where all kinds of businesses can present themselves and can find agents. So it's really focused on finding agents. So, but this is always I can imagine that this is a very crucial factor in your business, to have a good local partner. And we were already a little bit discussing with Jurjen about payment methods, online working. How is that working for your company when you look specifically to Italy? Is that I have the feeling myself that in the Netherlands, it's as I mentioned in my introduction, that it's a bit more common.
Yeah, I think for the Dutchies on this call, I think we had something very luxury in the Netherlands rather early on, which is called Ideal. We got used to that 10 years ago, 12 years ago, rather quickly. Maybe even before that, when we started 16 years ago, we were one of the first to actually implement that. That was definitely not present when we got to Italy. And that's something a good partner will be able to tell you what's common in this country to accept payment service-wise. When we started, which was a bit of time ago, I think we saw a lot of online or even invoicing. Right, so actually sending our goods and taking a rather high risk of people afterwards not paying for the let's say the products themselves. So we were a new brand in the market. We knew that we were taking a risk, and over the last couple of years, yes, we've seen it grow to let's say more standardized electronic payment forms of PayPal or other ways, as Stripe and credit card payments, which in our end as a retailer or an e-tailer is good, because it's saving you a lot of time, effort, and we don't have to chase the customers for the money. The advantage we have, though, I must say very honestly, is that people require our product for a long time. So the payment behavior, which I was rather, to be honest, skeptical about in the beginning, of people not paying, we didn't see that to a very increasingly high amount. So sometimes it's just about trying to see what's going to happen. But again, I do realize that we're talking small amounts per customer, or in our case, per patient. So it's not like you're sending a very beautiful, a very expensive bike. If that does not get paid as an entrepreneur, you're into different kind of situation. So we're lucky to be able to send bills, but it's decreasing. Luckily, we're not getting a lot of checks anymore, y'all.
And so actually, what you're saying is that you are building online a relationship with your customers, and that helps, of course, in payment discipline.
Yeah.
Last question, maybe. What are your future plans for Italy?
Well, I think that we have gotten used to Italy, but also Italy has also gotten used to us. And you have to calculate some time for that to take place. And I know we're Dutch and we want to expand as quickly as possible. I think it's part of our DNA somehow. But you have to really get to know the market. We know the market very well now. The market knows us as well, so they take us seriously. And I think we can together develop more different type of medical niches, which we're working on out of the Netherlands here, doing a lot of new clinical research outside the diabetes and morbid obesity field, which I think we hope to, in the near future, serve different types of patients also in Italy. So I really hope that we can move into other medical fields, hopefully already at the end of this year.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, and good luck with these further developments.
Thank you.
That brings us to our next speaker, Olaf Bussink. He was mentioned already, of Team Italia. He is living close to Rome. Maybe we can see him. Very good. He is living already for a longer time with his family in Italy, around 10 years. He has also with his company, he is helping other companies to digitalize, to do e-commerce business in Italy. And well, you have seen the developments with regard to digitization in Italy in the last years. And it would be very interesting to hear from you how you look at Italy. And you have, I think, a small PowerPoint presentation as well. The floor is yours, Olaf.
Yes, thank you, Johan. Yes, I've been lucky to already be living 10 years in Italy now. And in this phase, I've seen the growth of e-commerce and the digitalization from starting. I remember that my first internet connection needed 5 books and then to point it at a radio frequency to get 1 line of connection. Now, that was 10 years ago, and now we're all well connected. The question I got was to present a little bit about current developments in Italy on the e-commerce field. And Jörn already did a great job in showing the market research. I would like to take you along briefly in the current development. If I could see the slides, then I will present this to you. Because we're seeing a very interesting development the last years. What we're experiencing, and then we can already go to the next slide. What we are seeing in the last couple of years, we're seeing a buildup of an e-commerce tsunami. We have seen the last 3-4 years a regular online growth that's already double digits. And the last year, this has accumulated. We see that on top of the regular online growth, we've seen COVID has created another level of growth and is bringing us to around 30%. With the COVID situation, the European Union and Italy have created a fund, and that fund will focus mainly on 2 things and 1 primary element, and that is the digitalization. So what we can expect is an even bigger growth of the e-commerce in the next coming years. And that you will also see in the next slide that besides these three elements that I presented, we see a lot of money put in the economy at this moment by the Italian government. What we also see is the Next Generation Fund that is pushing. And what we see is that savings are going to be spent in the next year. And as long as the interest rate is low, the willing to invest in e-commerce companies and e-commerce business is big. So we are really predicting a powerful growth. So that is one element. And in the next slide, I will present you the following element. So we see big growth coming, but at the same time, if I can go to the next slide. If I speak to Dutch entrepreneurs, I hear them say, yes, I understand Italian is a promising market, 61 million inhabitants, a big gross domestic product. At the same time, an online spending of 36.4 billion, what is much more than Holland already. But then it comes, yes, but. And the yes, but means that they experience elements that block them to move there. And the elements they talk about is a low internet density, is the chauvinism of made of Italy, is the low GDP per person, and also the low mobile data use. And I would like to challenge you all to look with me a little bit in a different way at these data, because I'm thinking we're making it too flat. So if you join me on the next slide, I would like to give you some examples. If we talk about the low internet density, so low internet connections, if I'm on Sunday looking at the results for a partner that we work with, I always see a peak on Sunday at 4 or Sunday at 5. And when is this? This is when the Italian family lunch ends. And this is where grandchildren and grandparents get together to order, for example, the product that Simon was speaking about before, for their grandfather or grandmother. And mostly they do it with the credit card from the uncle. So what we see here is that it looks that we have a low internet density, but basically one internet connection is doing 3 families, 3 households, 3 incomes. So this is a different way of looking at the same numbers. We see the same for Made in Italy. It's a lot of time mistakes as chauvinism. It's not. It's just a very good marketing tool that does it very well in the world, and it's proud, but it's for sure not chauvinism. So Italians are willing to buy products from the Netherlands, from Germany, from Sweden. If you look at the GDP per person, it's completely right. It's much lower than Holland. But if you look at the region, there is a huge difference. If you take Lombardia, that's the region of Milan, 8 million inhabitants, GDP almost the same as Holland. So if you choose for e-commerce and you're skilled to target your market, you will find your perfect target group with a high GDP. We also saw an element of mobile use. If you look at the possession of mobile phones, Holland is at 1.2 per person, Italy is at 1.32. So here people earn more mobile phones than almost anywhere in Europe. What we see there is that the tradition of mobile comes from a very long time ago, and Italians were using mobiles much before. They're also a very important static element. And how does that translate? That translates to a 50% of online sales by mobile. Holland doesn't even touch 40 at the moment. So this is some examples that I would like to share with you to show if you have a little deeper look at the numbers, they're even better than we think. I would like to take you to the following slide. And that's the question, why now? Why can't, as an entrepreneur or an e-commerce entrepreneur, can I wait for another couple of years? Because I still have a lot to do. I still have to finalize Germany. I still want to go to Austria. Can I wait with Italy? My message is no, you can't. Why not? Because now there are still very strong benefits that you can profit from. What is it? It's the language barrier. What we see is that Italians don't like to pass the Alps at the moment to do e-commerce shopping. So that means that the country is closed. You further see the bureaucracy tax in price. What is bureaucracy tax? That is that you see that the price levels in Italy are higher because the bureaucracy processes are complex and people at the end have to put that in the price. We see the geography of Italy that makes it interesting because it's such a big country. What Jörn also mentioned already is that it's acceptable to have shipping of 2, 3, 4 days. What means you can ship directly from Holland and still be competitive. The other thing what we see is that other northern companies from the north don't expand yet so much to Italy. So you're not the last, but you can still be the first, as Simon has been the first. And what we see is that still they here experience a lot of pain of channel conflict. What does that mean? I would like to sell online, but I have my retailers, my distributors, and I have a local relationship with them, so I cannot push on my online channel. This leads to favorable elements. That means that you can still operate with a high price. The market is not consolidated yet. Local companies cannot go 100% online. You can work with a delivery from 2 to 5 days, and advertising is relatively cheap. And maybe we'll hear a little bit about that later. This brings me to the conclusion that I would like to share with you, and that is the Italian market is fast growing. The numbers are even better than they look. And the moment is right now. Now, to give you a last reads for what to do, time for action, and which actions is that done? And then I give the floor back to Johan. My last slide, please. And that's that. This is your checklist. Make sure you move in Italian, because Italian is the only way for all your channels, all your communication in and outbound. Do a market research before. You need to be sure on your pricing, because dare to price. The risk of overpricing is very low, and I see more entrepreneurs say making the mistake of underpricing than overpricing. Start simple. Keep your production in Holland. Keep your fulfillment in Holland. Keep your logistics in Holland. Keep your billing in Holland, but do your marketing, sales, and service local. I think that is the key for moving fast in an acceptable risk way. Then make sure your social is right. Facebook is huge here. Use it for your branding, but it's not only branding anymore, it's sales and also service. We see a lot of our clients making use of services to social that are very powerful. So if you want to make a significant growth, go now, is my opinion, because you will need 2 to 3 years to be on full speed, and it will help you to diversify your risk in all your other markets. So if you're only in Holland, you cannot explode in your growth. If you're able to go cross-border, you are. That was the fast and brief message I would like to share with you.
Well, thank you very much, Olaf. This was really very instructive, and yeah, again, a lot of information. If people are interested in the PowerPoint, please send us an email and we will make sure that you get it. I also want to refer to the B2Match platform, because I can imagine that people would like to speak to Olaf or others or with each other. Please make use of it, because it's a very nice platform, very easy to contact each other and to make an appointment and to speak to each other. I'm also very happy that you mentioned the reconstruction fund, Olaf, of the EU, which is really huge. As an embassy in Rome and as a consulate general here in Milan, we are also looking at that. More than or around 200 billion euros will become available for Italy and will be spent in the coming years. And digitization is one of the pillars in that program. So huge money. So I like very much the picture with the 3 waves you presented. And the time is now, as you are saying. Thank you so much, Olaf. And that brings us to the next best practice of Constantijn Vereken of the company Web Ads. He is specialized in selling ads on the internet, very important. And he started off in Amsterdam with his company. And his first office abroad was in Milan. So that is special, I think. It's almost 10 years ago that he started here. And he is also a very efficient person because he will make a presentation with only one slide. So Constantijn, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your business with the help of your slide.
Yeah,
thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, Johan, for the occasion to present the Web Ads business in Italy. Just a little correction, Web Ads started in Italy in 2003, so we are this year we became 18 years old.
Right.
We are now in the maturity business, let's say. So it was 18 years starting up, and now finally we are at the point where we want to be. I miss actually the slide that should be supportive to my small presentation. I will use this slide only for the first minute, let's say, to introduce our road into the Italian business. Here on the right side of the presentation, you see a QR code. That is the QR code where you connect with me on LinkedIn. So please take a picture and then we can directly connect with each other on LinkedIn. If you don't know this feature, it is on your mobile app on the search bar on the top of the app. There is a QR code, so you can easily connect and use it also for your own presentations because it gives really a boost in your connections. So my road to Italy started in 2000. It was the millennium year, for me, a year to change things. No, that was a joke. Now, people ask me always why Italy, but that was not a business issue. It was a love issue. So I came to Italy because I felt in love with an Italian lady and decided in the year of 2000 to move from Amsterdam to a little place in Umbria near to Rome without speaking any word of Italian, only saying a few words. But I started to do some little research business because my background is strategic marketing. But at that time I had only 27 years and I came to companies like Alitalia. I went to the pharmaceutical industry because it is a very interesting industry here in Italy. And everybody was saying, wonderful product, a very good idea, but what is your experience? So I was very proud saying, hey, I'm 27 years. I start just doing something what I like to do. And at the end, that was also something what people found very scary to do business with very young people at that stage. I mean, I speak about 20 years ago, obviously. So after a few years doing market research for some companies, I saw a big increase in the numbers of online people going online in Italy. So at that time, it was I did research for a company for online payments in 2000 to 2003. And I saw that in Italy at that time, there were already 7 million people online. And then I was thinking, but in the Netherlands, I know somebody that's working with media, with selling banners. Let's call him and ask how many people are in the Netherlands online. And at that time, it was exactly 7 million. So then I did a small calculation. I said, yeah, Italy is like this long. The Netherlands is so small. So there should be something in that field to develop. And after 2 weeks, we opened the Italian Web Ads. So we registered at the Camera di Commercio, and then everything started. As you saw on the slide, I was only myself, speaking just a few words of Italian because I spoke always English with my wife. So So that is the first hurdle. That is also something already said before. If you go to a country like Italy, please speak the language, or at least find somebody that can help you in understanding the communication. Because if you just translate from the Dutch to Italian, it's no go, and it's the same for English to Italian. I mean, it's another way of communicating. So that is a point what is very important. At that time, I had no network. I mean, I was not in that market, and fortunately for me at that time, internet was still something going or not going. I mean, people were deciding, will we go to the internet or not? And at that time, the people I spoke with, because I was also immediately aware, I need to understand the market. That was also said before by Fit for me, I think, that you really have to do some research and to understand what are the stakeholders that are deciding to do business with you. Because at the end, the client wants to do business with you. You also want to do business with the client, but you have to make the client aware why he should do business with you. So starting in 2003, me, myself, and I, but operating from an office not in Milan, because I was thinking, okay, Rome is the capital of Italy, so I should be close to Rome. Now, in my case, the media business is not in Rome. So that was the first mistake. So although we knew that we had to move to Milan, but as we are a private company, we didn't have that much money to spend on location and marketing. So it should be an auto-generated business. And fortunately, we did very well. So we opened in 2005, actually, an office in Milan. There were only 4 full-time employees. Then in 2009, we started to represent LinkedIn marketing solutions. So the whole commercial part of LinkedIn. And that gave a big boost to our business, actually. Now, in 2013, the first 10 years of WebAds, we were about 16 people in the office. We started to collaborate with AutoScout, a very big car website where you can find your next car, let's say. We started to work with Skyscanner, a very large portal to see where you can buy your flight ticket for the best price. And recently we opened a content marketing department. So we are also operating in the influencer marketing part of the digital advertising business. And nowadays we are still in Milan active. Actually, we are doing some rotation in the office due to the situation we are living in. And hopefully from September on, we can go back to the office and do what we are good in, and that is selling advertising online.
Yeah, thank you very much, Constantijn. And I think it's a very encouraging example again, like the others, of the possibilities which are there in Italy. Could you mentioned already the language and that you have to get to know the people. Could you mention maybe one other important cultural difference between the Dutch and the Italians which you encountered?
Yeah, sure. Now, that's also a point already said before about payment terms. So we have suppliers and we have clients, and our suppliers, we were thinking, okay, let's do 30 days of payment terms because that was normal at the time in the Netherlands. So I thought, okay, be Dutch and change the world. Now, very soon we understood that our clients were paying us only after 90 days. So we were acting like a bank, and that was not exactly what we wanted to do. So that is a point really to understand if you are working with suppliers or clients, that you have really good agreements about payment terms. Unfortunately, it's something what is not taken into account always, but if you start a business and it is a big business where a lot of money is transacted, make very good agreements about this kind of terms.
Yeah, another culture. Yeah. Okay, Constantine, thank you so much. Well, for those who want to further discuss or share information with Constantine, please also use the platform we have, and otherwise via email. Thank you again. Then we move, as I promised at the very beginning, to a small poll we want to have, and we have 3 questions for you, and I would like, a bit unpolite, but I would like to ask you only to participate if you are a business, if you are involved in business. So if you are a government, like myself, please just observe. So maybe we can have the first question, and I do that because these questions may help us in further steps after this event and after the market scan which has been done. So the first question here: what did you think about your business opportunities in Italy in the e-commerce before today? Very negative, negative, positive, very positive. Please fill it out. I think you can all see the poll right now. Well, many people are already quite positive. That is very interesting to hear, to see. Okay. Thank you very much. That brings us to the second question. And that is, what do you think about your own business in Italy now that you have heard these presentations? Are you interested to start soon, within a year or within 2 to 4 years? Or do you first have to have more information about Italy? Or maybe it's not an interesting market for you? This is extremely interesting for us. I see a lot of people who say that they are now so enthusiastic that they want to start soon. And also that a number of people say, well, actually we should have more information, which I can very well imagine. That brings us to the third question, which is about this further research. And here you, if I'm correct, you are able to tick more than one box. Because here the question is, which other Italian e-commerce subjects deserve more research? Online marketplaces, online payment solutions, e-fulfillment, customer experience, corporate social responsibility, the last mile, or related trade fairs. Yeah. Well, that's there is interest for everything. But online marketplaces and customer experience is, as we are doing that, sharing information on that today as well, is very much appreciated. Okay. Well, we will take very carefully note of all this, and this will help us also to further develop our next steps, and I will come back to that later on. Thank you very much for the participation in this poll. We have one more speaker, and that is Philip Evers. He is our very dear colleague at the RVO. He is, his business at the RVO is Italy. So we are talking to each other as a consulate, as an embassy, with Philip every week, and sometimes several times per week. And we have asked him to share with us the main subsidy schemes which are relevant for e-commerce. So Philip, yes. Can I give you the floor?
Yes, thank you for the very kind words. Yeah, I found the poll questions really interesting. One of the results is that more information is needed for some of you. And that's a very good sign for me personally, because RVO can help you with that. we have some instruments that will help you with your steps abroad. And these instruments can be divided in two categories. We have instruments for individual entrepreneurs, and we have instruments for collective groups of entrepreneurs when they want to take steps together, for instance. When I start off with the individual entrepreneur instruments, we have customized country information in which we can help you answer some basic questions about the target country you are looking for, in this case, of course, Italy. Our second very interesting instrument is customized business partner support, in which we try to support you in your search of a good business partner. One of my favorite instruments we have for individual entrepreneurs is the Starters International Business Program, in which you can apply for vouchers that can help you in certain areas. For instance, among others, market entry, missions, individual trade fair participation, and so on. When we move on to the collective part, we have a very interesting one for sector organizations called the MKB Lounge program, or the SME Lounge in English, in which sector organization can present themselves at an international fair through a collective Dutch entry. We also are able to organize missions if there is an opportunity and enough interest, for instance. And another nice instrument we have for the collective is our Partners in International Business, in which a cluster of organizations decides to enter the Italian market together, and then together with the RVO we can make a really nice program for that. But yeah, my main message of today is I can imagine that all these programs sound a bit complicated. I'm always here for you to do some sparring. I will also post my contact details in the chat. Feel free to contact me at any time, and then together with my colleagues, we will try to help you as good as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. Very useful. And as you are saying, all the information is also can be found on your website or via email. So please share indeed your email address. Well, that brings us to a closing. And for that, we have prepared a nice slide. Maybe you can show that, Patty. A slide titled Ride With Us, the E-Commerce Wave in Italy, which has been prepared by Manuela Capra and Edith de Vries, my colleagues here. And the first challenge for them is the follow-up of the market research. So we are aware that we have to do some further research. And the poll we just had helps us a lot in that respect. Then also we are looking at the Webwinkel Vakdagen in Utrecht in January next year, where we would like to present the market research results, which we have now in our hands about Italy. And we would like to organize a Dutch-Italian event there. So that is in January next year in Holland, in Utrecht. And then also next year, there is a very important fair or a forum, the Netcom Forum in Milan. We don't know yet exactly what the date will be, but we are planning to have a group of businessmen from the Netherlands, a Dutch delegation there at this forum. We would like to organize that. So if you are interested in these kind of activities, please stay in touch with us. At the bottom, you can see the email address of our consulate. Please send us an email. Also, as I said in the beginning, if you are interested in the report prepared by Jurjen, the market scan, you can also receive it from us. Having said all that, I would like to end with thanking our 5 speakers. very much appreciated your excellent contributions. And I would like to thank all participants for being with us and being with us on this e-commerce ride in Italy. I wish you all a very good day. And well, the next session in the Business Day Italy will be about healthy aging. It will start in half an hour. So also there are many digitization elements, e-commerce elements even. So if you are interested in that, please stay with us. And otherwise, I wish you a very nice day.